I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I'm on it.
Hey, Freak Show! You're going nowhere!
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
Welcome back to another episode of West of Nowhere, kids and coaches. I am Levi.
What's a nondescript like Japanese
Uh,
name? I'm Shane.
Live from Japan, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah,
Welcome
man.
back, bud.
Dude, I was starting to think I was never gonna be
Yeah,
here, man.
it's crazy.
I was like,
Go ahead.
in my head, I was just like, I used to do a podcast. I don't know what that's like anymore.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Mark's been doing a good job. He couldn't do it last week. He had COVID and he was all wonked, but their new baby's super cute, so they got that going.
Yeah, I've been following pictures of our baby.
Nice. Yeah. How you doing? I mean, I've talked to you, but the
Dude,
audience hasn't heard from you.
yeah. I've been out here since end of
Yeah.
last month. It's all right here. So Misawa itself is like just feels like a small
Really?
town. Like maybe slightly bigger. Like I don't know what's the difference between a small town and a big city like that.
Yeah,
Like in
just
the
like a
middle. I
city,
don't know.
like a regular
Yeah,
old
just a regular
city.
city. Regular city. Yeah.
Like
Um.
40, 50,000. I'm gonna look it up right now. Ooh.
Um. Besides that, man, like I tried curry for the first time my entire
Oh,
life here,
nice.
so that was pretty cool. There's a restaurant called Coco's Curry that is just on
Yeah.
point. It's just really good. And you can scale the spiciness of the food from 1 to 10, but you can't have anything above a 5 if you've never ate. You can't have like 6 or 10 if you've never ate a
Oh,
5. So I took it as a personal challenge.
Jesus. Okay.
So like this, I've only eaten there 3 times, but the first time I had a spice level 2, then I did a spice level 4, then I did a spice level
Yeah.
5. So I'm ready. I'm on deck. And then last night at work, someone's like, "How would they know
Dude,
that if you order a 6 and you've never ate a 5?" And I
Baskin
was like,
Robbins always
he's
finds
like, "Did they
out, dude.
give you a?" He was like, "Did they give you a punch card?" No, they didn't. So that means this entire time I could have just been like, "Yo, give me a 6.
They
Let's
would have
do
known
this.
because
Let's
they will
just
watch
fuck."
your face melt off of it, off of your skull. They'd have been like, that guy hasn't had one before. um, Before we get too sidetracked, you want to
Oh
test your
shit.
memory. You remember our Patreon
Test my
people?
memory. Do I
I know
remember
you've been
them?
off in distant lands, conquering
Just like
the East, but
I'm a man of the people now, dude.
humble
You
as
know?
always, obviously. Oh man, I that first episode when you were gone, I was like, oh fuck, fuck, I don't remember, and so I just shot from the hip, like I missed like 6 of them, which is weird.
I know that that next day, like, was I
Yeah,
watched it and I was like, "Oh, this motherfucker," and I put it in the comments so you have
yeah,
it. You know?
I
Boom.
appreciate you.
Um, let's see. It is Adam Pacino, Tony Burgess, Sam Norton, Natalie Tacarante, Mark Stadler, Kylie Gangwish, our master media, Colton Zamerza, and Jeremy Brazzers.
Nice. Yeah, if you want to be like them, follow the link tree and in the description or whatever, and find a Patreon and give us free money. So, but yeah, so that's crazy. The only Asian country I've ever been to was Singapore, and that was fun. But I can't imagine being in a place like that longer than the time I was there. You know what I mean? Like my frame of reference is all just
Yeah.
that. But do you get to go off base quite a bit then, or what?
Yeah, it's weirdly like the
Oh
boat.
yeah,
So you can't leave base during on duty days, which is so
yeah.
stupid. Um, and then you have to have a Liberty Buddy. For me, it's kind of different because so as long as I don't plan on
Yeah.
drinking, I can just check up by myself and go off
Yeah.
base. But if you plan on drinking, then you have to have a Liberty Buddy,
You're right.
and then you have to be back on base by. I have to be back on base by 11:30.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Even though, like, so you're working nights, like, so it's still 11:30 no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially, during the week, I can't go off base anyways. So. I mean, I could if I got up early like I am right
Yeah.
now, I could go,
Right.
but no one's doing that. I mean, I'm not
Right.
gonna do it. I'm just gonna. The second we stop recording, I'm gonna take my pants back off and lay in bed until I have to go to work. You know.
Fair. Fair. Totally fair. Man, well, it's good to have you back. I'd missed the repertoire that we had, and I
Yeah.
was contemplating creating a soundboard. I still might do it of just your voices, like just random things, like you
Oh yeah.
laughing, you saying, "Oh yeah," like I'm gonna take that for sure, and just like plug it in. Well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um, and last week was rough just because I was talking to myself the whole time, which is um always hard. Like I don't know how like people like Dan Cummins do that shit every fucking week. 2.5 hours
To be
just
fair,
talking to himself.
his most of his is
That's
scripted
true.
though. You
It's
know,
probably a lot easier.
he has like a team. He pays a team that
But he
like,
didn't at first.
and he has like he's
But he
just
did have a script at
really
first. Yeah. He's always had scripts, so yeah.
okay. That's got to be the even if he doesn't have like a completely written
Yeah.
out script, man. Like having bullet points to just keep you on a steady
Yeah.
flow. The fact that you can do it without it, you know, just speaks to how much you should probably stop
Listen,
talking. You
I
know.
love a good steady flow. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Have you been able to watch many movies while you're in your free time?
So I've been keeping up with House of the
Oh yeah.
Dragon, which is
Yeah.
the show. I've been keeping up with Rick and
Yeah.
Morty. There's that new AMC adaptation of Interview with the
Oh,
Vampire.
I didn't know that was out yet. Nice.
Yeah, there's 4 episodes out. Um, let's see what else. There's a new show. It's I don't know if I like it just yet, but it's called Reginald the Vampire.
Hmm.
It's got the kid who played in Spider-Man. He was Tom Holland's best
Oh,
friend.
okay. Yeah.
So
Ned.
he's a fat vampire, so it can be
Yeah.
funny, but it also feels like it won't be on long.
Just limited market for that kind of thing.
I just feel like with the way we are today, with the way everything is, you can't poke fun at something too
Yeah.
much. And like since he's a fat vampire, I just feel like I haven't looked into it, but I feel like there's got to be people who are like, "Oh, this is just a show about fat shaming."
I mean, probably. There probably will be. Um, have you watched the new uh modern version of Hellraiser yet on Hulu?
No,
Um,
no,
have
I
you
have
seen
not.
like any of the older ones?
I'm gonna be real
Oh,
honest, no.
all right. Well, it's good.
I know who
Yeah.
Hellraiser is, right? Because like I've seen, but I've
Yeah.
never watched them. I've never been a big horror
Right.
person.
Yeah. Well, this is horror on the scale of like gory, right? So if you're not into that,
Okay.
maybe skip it. But I like all horror. I'm a good fan of, and especially Hellraiser.
Mm,
Like I really liked the first three movies. I really liked. The first one was kind of weird because they didn't reveal a whole lot about like the the priests, the hell priests is what they are, the Cenobites, the
okay.
creatures, the fucked up amalgamation of like BDSM and like just torture porn. I don't know. They're all fucked up looking, but um they don't get into that in like the first movie. The first movie is very like following the story of like the the box itself. But this new one, it kind of does like a little bit of both at the same time. It
Okay.
doesn't get like the backstories of them, but it talks about like what what their drive is, like what they're doing, why they're doing what they're doing, which I feel like is a pretty important piece to that kind of thing, because otherwise it's just gratuitous fucking horror, body horror for no reason. And you're like, cool,
Yeah.
I guess you just did that to do that. But so the pinhead in this one is a lady pinhead. But people are fucking mad about it, just like every fucking time anybody does anything. But here's the funny thing: is in the original book, it's an
Yeah.
androgynous figure, meaning it could be either way. And this one,
Right. Yeah.
like you could tell it's a lady underneath the makeup, but like the way they do, like there's multiple levels of voices going on. Um,
Yeah.
so I feel like it's kind of like it kind of works. Like it's
Yeah.
and there's a scene is gay people in the movie and they're like, what the fuck? Why would they? Oh, just trying to woke fucking Hollywood, man. Forgetting that Clive Barker, who did the original one, is gay.
Hmm.
It's
Oh,
fucking
okay.
people are so stupid. Um, but anyway, I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, it's got a lot of blood, a lot of fucking gnarly body horror going on, but pretty exciting. Um,
Yeah, dude. I'll have to log into Hulu and definitely
yeah.
watch it.
Unbelievable. Um, can't believe it. So I got some stories. I got a lot of stories going on right now.
Okay.
But
Yeah. Because I'm gonna be
you
honest.
don't got anything? That's fine. Cause I got you.
Well, like I said just before we started recording, man, I was like, I had been like every week, like I'd been like saving articles in my and like I had like so many open windows on my internet browser. I was like, yo, I'm
Fucking
ready,
bogging
dude.
down your
Whenever we
fucking device, just like there's too many things.
and then I don't know, we just couldn't seem to get our schedules to meet
Yeah,
right because I'm a full what 14 hours
yeah,
ahead of you,
something like
so
that.
like living in the future.
You are in the future. It's Tuesday right now for you. Monday for me. It's wild. Um, yeah. So and in addition to, um, I surprise I moved. So I live in a different state now, and this weekend was my move. Um, Me and my friends were driving around before I left though, and we had heard about this car wreck in a town, I don't know, 30 minutes away from where we live, and they found a body in the trunk.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
And we're like, "What? That's crazy." Turns out that this body belonged to a lady who was missing with her teen since the 13th of October.
Oh wow.
And this kid had crashed the car and then like really injured, serious condition with the hospitalization from the wreck. And then they found a body in the trunk, and that trunk, that's his kid's mom. So they don't know what happened specifically just yet, but I just thought that was crazy because we were literally just talking about this, me and my friends, and then I scrolling through Reddit and I found this. I was like, oh shit, that's that same thing. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm
Do you know if they found uh the daughter, right? Because
No,
you said it was her daughter. It was her and her daughter that are
her
missing.
and her son, and
Oh, her and her son are both
the
missing.
son's
Okay.
the one that wrecked it.
You think he
I
killed his
think
mom?
so. It's kind of looking like it. They were in
What
Texas
if?
before they fled, or when they went
Okay.
missing, and then he ended up all the way in Nebraska, crashed, dead body in
Yeah.
the trunk. Turns out it's his mom. So shit's wild.
What if he didn't? What if but they were both
Right.
captured right by this like killer dude. The dude killed his mom and threw her in the trunk, and then he hit the
And
dude with
escaped.
something, and then got in the car and then drove away, and then like being a dumb kid, he just kept driving instead of going to the
Yeah,
police.
just frantic with
But doubtful.
emotions. Yeah, I've
Right,
seen
yeah.
that.
Like my mom's dead in the
I've
trunk.
seen that
What
horror
am I
movie, I
supposed to
think,
do?
before. I don't know. Just keep driving.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, I guess until, innocent until proven guilty, right? That's the motto.
Yeah. It's supposed to
We'll
be,
see.
right?
I don't know. It doesn't look great right now, but like I said, this literally just happened the other day. The 15th is when the wreck happened. So,
Yeah. Okay.
um, but yeah. So, I talked about Russia last week, and I found some articles that I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. Not surprised, but Russia is grabbing men off the street and forcing them into the military to fight in Ukraine. So that's pretty cool.
That's that's how you know they're at the
Yeah,
end.
they're fucking
Like,
struggling. Um, yeah, they. So it's crazy. It reminds me of like back in the olden days, in like the 17 to early, well, early to mid 1800s. The the British Navy was especially famous for this, but they would do what's called pressing. They press people into
yeah.
service. And so they would have like gangs of fucking um military members going from like pubs and shit, getting people hammered and then like taking them back to the ships, and then these people would like be blacked out and then wake up and they're like halfway across the Pacific by the time they wake up. Maybe not halfway, but those boats are kind of slow.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah. I figured.
That's exactly how I joined the Navy.
Got drunk, woke up in boot camp. It's fucking wild. Yeah.
Woke up with Dragon Lady cutting my hair, dude. I was like, this is not what I signed up for.
Oh, dude, yeah. Can you imagine? Like, that's a very far-fetched thing, especially in the modern times for the United States anyway. Apparently not in Russia, but like you just get hammered, and then all of a sudden when you start like come to, your own, you're like in a room full of people all dressed the same as you, but it's not prison. And then some reason there's a guy in shiny metal emblems hanging off this thing, yelling at you, and you're like,
Right?
"Fuck, what's happening?"
Did I wake up in Squid Games?
I still haven't watched that yet. I need to.
Really? They've apparently they're filming a season
Yeah,
2 now.
that's what I heard. I'm like, oh shit. Here's the problem: is I want to watch it, but it's gonna take me a lot of focus because subtitles, and
You gotta read,
and so
yeah.
I can't do two things at once like I usually do. Like I like to throw something up on this monitor over here, and then on this monitor I'm doing something else.
Well, I'm fairly certain there's English
Oh
dubbing,
yeah,
but but what I've noticed with any show is if you do the dubbing and you don't read the subtitles, there's like shit
it's
that's
like
lost because it doesn't always
yeah,
translate well
yeah.
as far as like speaking it, and like I don't understand whoever does the script for like the subbing and whoever does the script for dubbing, they don't speak to each
Right.
other.
They're just on their own program.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but I need to check that out. But uh, continuing on with Russia, so they
Okay.
have, in addition to pressing people into service, they're also a UN official, like report, I guess, is that they are um, the Russian military is implementing rapes as part of their strategy to fuck with Ukrainians, and I think that's been something that people kind of knew was already going on, but for like the UN to go out and be like, yeah, they're actually doing that, so not right. Um, Also,
Damn, dude.
there's a Ukrainian musician. I think he was like a classically trained musician who refused to
Yeah.
take part in a concert that was uh, being put on by Russians, uh, intended by the occupiers to demonstrate the so-called improvement of peaceful life. So basically, it's a fake concert to make things look like it's great now that they've invaded and took over like this Kherson is the place that is the city that they're in, and he's like
Mhm.
no, and so they killed him. So nothing says peaceful and improved like killing a musician that doesn't want to be a part of your fucking concert.
God, dude.
Oh man, yeah, there,
Isn't rape a war
yeah,
crime? It's got to be a
gotta
war
be,
crime, right?
has to be. Not in the Geneva Convention, I would assume. Um, yeah, I don't know. We'll see, I suppose. I'm not
God.
a UN envoy, so I can't speak to that, but it doesn't sound good. Um, bunch of knuckleheads over there in Russia. Um, dude. So, have you been following the Alex Jones thing at all?
I didn't know people were still
Yeah.
talking about
So,
him.
he had the trial in Texas, and then he got
Oh, when he like did the Sandy Hook
yeah.
shit,
So
whenever he was like talking shit
yeah.
about him.
So
Okay.
he got he was ordered to pay $50 million in that case, and then
Oh my
his
God.
company or whatever said they're gonna go bankrupt. Basically in an effort to avoid it, and now they're being tried in Connecticut um, for defamation for the families, and
For the same thing?
it's essentially, but I think it's after that initial one, like this one's also going on, but it's not a double jeopardy kind of thing because I think it's in different fucking places too. But I don't really understand how the fucking judicial system works anymore because I am continuously confused. But
How can you be tried in a different state for something you? I don't know. I guess because he wasn't in Texas when he
yeah,
did it, and what he was doing was definitely defamation to those families. I don't understand how Connecticut can go. All right, we're also gonna do
well,
this same
it's
thing,
the
but
city or the state of the shooting is in Connecticut. That's where it took
oh fuck.
place.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
no, they're yeah,
So you want to guess how much she had to pay in this one, or was what the jury ordered down?
50 million
Nope. Yep.
more, like 200.
Nope.
Are you serious, dude? What the
Yeah.
fuck,
965 million.
dude?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I don't know. So that's what the jury ordered. Now, if you remember with the Johnny Depp trial, the jury ordered this, and then the judge ended up knocking it down to whatever. So I don't know if that's going to be similar in this case, but it kind of seems like it's like a attempt to go like even if you fucking go like file for bankruptcy, this is something you're still gonna have to pay because it's like an exorbitant amount of money. Like,
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
lot, dude. I feel like that's an. He didn't even. I don't know. I feel like that's a lot of money just for talking
yeah,
shit. It's a lot of
yeah,
money. I mean, I think 50 million is a lot of money for talking shit, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's a difference between just talking shit and then like having inspired your followers to send death threats to family members of dead kids,
I
right?
mean, I'm not taking his
Sound
side
like it?
anyway. I just think that 900 and something million dollars, like that's more money than like me and you and like 12 other people will make combined our entire
Fucking
fucking
speak
lives.
for yourself, bro. I'm rich as fuck. See this fancy chair that I got for $160?
It is a
It's
nice
pretty
chair.
comfy. So, um, but yeah, so that's pretty wild. Um, in more American legal system news, uh, California governor blocked the parole of a former Charles Manson follower, Patricia Krenwinkel. Uh, Krenwinkel is the one who scrawled "Helter Skelter" in blood on the wall, infamously. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So she's 74, and apparently she's too much of a risk to be freed for fear of public safety, which is kind of hilarious. But like, I get it. Yeah, you really just rolled with the wrong crowd back then, you know?
I mean, was she a part of that shit that
Like,
happened?
she was with the group that killed Sharon Tate and all them, and then she's specifically the one who wrote in the victim's blood, "Helter Skelter" on the wall. Um,
Oh yeah, you're
yeah,
fucked, dude. Get
yeah.
out of here.
So, I just saw the Charles Manson thing. I was like, oh shit. And um, so another one of the so she's the longest serving female of the Manson family because Susan
Yeah.
Atkins, who was
Everyone
like
else is
the
dead.
main one, fucking died in 2009. Um, but yeah, so she's the longest serving female inmate in California, also.
Oh God.
Yeah, because I think she was sent to jail, convicted in either 70 or 71.
How old is
She's
she?
74.
Does it say? I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like at a certain point, who I don't think she's gonna be writing. I don't. I don't think she's gonna be writing anyone's blood if she was to
yeah.
get out. Like,
I mean, seems like a
because
really good reason to not trust an old person to me, you know?
I mean, you just look for reasons. Let's be honest.
I try. I don't have to look very far is the thing. Not always, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so oh, I forgot to mention this in in my Russian tangent, but um this lady was scammed out of 27,000 pounds by a Russian astronaut who needed rocket landing fees to marry her. This poor old lady. She's in Japan, so if you're trying to get some extra money, um, probably probably hit her up. No,
Sorry.
it's fine. Yeah, so she had been 65-year-old woman in Japan, been scammed out of 27,000 pounds by a man claiming to be a Russian astronaut in space who needed the money to fly back to Earth to marry her. They began chatting on Instagram in June, and he was filled in. His profiles filled with photos that of space and said he was based on the International Space Station, and then started coming in hot on the DMs, telling her he was in love with her and this and that, and they were like, "Hey, I love you, we'll get married, but listen, they're not gonna just send a rocket for free. I gotta pay if I want to leave early." And yeah, so pretty. I always hear stories about like things like this, but um, it's just wild that that keeps happening, especially in the modern age where it's like so many of these stories are out and about. Like the Tinder swindler
Yeah.
documentary fucking shows not this exact specific thing, but shit similar, and how people
Yeah.
are just still falling for it. But yeah, so pretty wild. Um, I wouldn't send any money
It's
to
funny.
anybody to fly back to Earth. You made your choice, bro. You stay out there.
It's funny, like you said though, because there's like a huge, and maybe, maybe that's just in America, but there's like that huge, there's that show
Oh yeah,
Catfish that's like super huge, and then like you've heard of multiple like stories of like the Nigerian prince where you
dude,
send me this money for my to help whatever, and I'll send you this much
dude.
back. Like,
Nigeria is like a hotbed for people scamming. Like that's the whole country. It's crazy. There's a Time Suck episode about it, and it's crazy. Like the whole country is like not invested, but like it's just so naturally occurring there. And I watched the 90 Day Fiance, and there's this old
mhm.
lady from Georgia, and she hooks herself a Nigerian man, and fuck, man, like all of her friends are just like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, do not do this." Like like he's literally in Nigeria, and you're just like, "No, it's good." I mean, he's a real guy, and she went down and met him and everything. But it's just wild. Like that's so internet or not internationally known, I guess, but like across the country is just known. Nigerian
Yeah.
scamming, like, and it's just that part. Like I don't ever hear of Moroccan scammers or Somali scammers, pirates, but those aren't really scammers. They're just stealing. Um, but yeah, wild, wild shit. Uh, and the most unfortunate kind of sentencing I can ever think of reading. This dude in Michigan sentenced an additional 24 years after killing this dude who was in prison for being the leader of an international child porn ring. So that's kind of annoying. This dude was already in prison and knew about this guy who was in prison for child porn and fucking beat him and stabbed him to death, which I agree with and support. And it happened all the way in 2019, but COVID and everything fucking pushed his sentencing back, and they just like last week announced that he's got 24 extra years for this because they don't want it to
God.
be an unsafe environment in those prisons.
Well,
To which
yeah.
I say, maybe if the dude was involved in any kind of action against a child, maybe don't care about that. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah. No, I get you.
Like, I think the only people who aren't in support of violence against people like him are people like him,
Yeah.
But, like, I guess if you're looking at it in, like, a bureaucratic, like, kind of thing, well, we can't have just everybody killing people based on their thing, on their, sentence or whatever. But at the same time, like, you could, like, give him extra shit, but, like, that's 24 extra years of parole. Or, like, whatever. That's if
I
you
mean,
have to give him
so
something.
I think the flip side of that is like murder is always wrong,
Right.
and two wrongs don't make it
Yeah.
right. Like that guy he killed, cool. Like I don't think anyone's losing any sleep over the fact that
Right.
he's dead. Maybe, but at the end of the day, murder is still wrong. So you still have to keep that precedent set
Yeah.
where
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
you
you
shouldn't
can't just have
shouldn't have
everybody
killed him.
just killing each other in the fucking prisons no matter what.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also, maybe just let it slide one time. I don't know.
What's your hey dude, what's your commissary? We'll send you some money.
Bro, that's what needs to happen. Fuck. You buy so many Doritos. Hooked up, dude. um,
I don't know what you can buy in prison, but here's $5.
Hopefully it gets you far. I don't know if inflation transferred over in prison, but um I saw this and I thought it was interesting and I'd like to hear your opinion about it. But there's a
Okay.
article that says that more US companies are charging employees for job training if they quit. It's like if you work
Yeah.
for a place and they spend the money to get you trained up, ready to go, and then you quit before that's paid back, they're like, fuck you, dude. So, in instance, there's this salon in Washington State uh,
Oh wow.
that charged this lady $1,900 for training after she had quit, and she was surprised by this.
Mhm.
But
No,
go ahead.
no, go ahead. Yeah,
Oh, I
finish
was
it.
just gonna say so a little background on this particular incident. This lady was already licensed, and she said that the trainings were specific to that shop, and that she didn't need them. So that's her argument. But this is like more and more companies are doing this. This is just one example. So what do you think?
No, I think that you should like as long as they told her up
Yeah,
front, like if she can prove that they didn't tell her that, then
yeah,
yeah, then maybe then it's fucked up. But if they told her ahead of time, hey, you're like we're gonna train you, we're gonna like you're gonna go through this whole training process, and if you quit before a certain time, then you will be held accountable for this for like X amount
yeah,
of money. Because Dude, it is. It's a waste of time to like hire someone, train them up, to what you think is like the standard for your
Yeah.
company, and then for them just to go, you know what?
Don't need it.
No. And then that's just time. It's just time
Yeah.
wasted. So that there needs to be. I definitely agree with there needs to be some kind of way to hold someone accountable. Some piece of shit who's like, oh, I want a job, and then they're like, they waste the company's
Yeah.
time, and then the company essentially is losing out on money training you, and then you're just like, whatever, and then you peace out. Like, no, like you you agreed to this. Now you're gonna hang out for
Yeah.
a little bit.
It's kind of reminiscent of like sign-on bonuses, or like, if you get a job, sometimes they have, those like $500, $1,000 bonuses you can get for, working
Hmm.
there. And, they're paid out sometimes like 6 months just to make sure that you're not going to quit or whatever. But sometimes they're up
Yeah,
front. But if you do quit, then obviously they're like, you got to pay that back. Because, like, this is an investment into you working for us. Like, we're putting money towards you to be an effective member of this, organization or whatever. And I got to tell you, I don't
yeah,
really have a problem with it. And I've gone through a lot of jobs where they give pretty in-depth shit like, hey man, this is some stuff that we do in particular here, and this is why we do it, so we need everybody to be on the same page. And like, if I had quit halfway through some of those, like, some of the, not courses, but instructions, I guess, are pretty intensive. And especially when you
hmm
get into like industrial kind of jobs, working at some sort of plant that makes things like that's a lot of shit that you got to know. Sometimes you got to know how to operate machines, and if they're investing that much into you, like trying to be part of their thing, they fucking like you enough. And then you're just like, I'm just gonna leave now. I don't think it's a big deal for them to ask some money back for that. And then in this
yeah,
one where it's like a salon, and if she didn't agree that it was, important or effective, but like that's still their determination. If you want to work there, they want you to be trained XYZ. They're gonna pay
yeah.
for it, but if you quit, get a payback. So
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
As long as they told her up front,
and
this
it
is like
doesn't
this is
say,
this is
but
what will
yeah,
happen. I would assume they did, like for their
yeah, it'd be weird if they
for
didn't,
legal
especially
reasons.
in Washington State. I feel like everybody's kind of upfront about a lot of employing practices up there, I would say. But yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Um. Well, would you like to do the honors and bring your old faithful?
I mean, yeah, dude, I got you. I was ready. I got it
Hell
pulled
yeah.
up. Dude, I gotta like listen to this album, dude, because like he's not going anywhere. So, um, again at number one, Un Vierno Sin Ti by Bad Bunny. Number one, like
Staying strong.
he's yeah. I wonder if how close he came to breaking Morgan Wallen's record. I should probably look into
Yeah.
that.
Um. Like at number one or just on in the top 10.
Well, cause like I know Morgan Wallen like either tied the record or broke it, with 10 weeks straight at number
Oh,
one.
he's had
And
13
I wonder
total.
he
Invierno. Bad Bunny. Sorry, his
that's
name's
insane. Yeah.
not.
Oh,
Oh,
Vierno.
Invierno.
Debuting at number two is Five SOS Five, which by 5 Seconds to
Yeah.
Summer, which seems like a really lazy thing. To it's like this is our fifth album.
Yeah.
And then at number three, Dangerous Double album, Morgan Wallen. Number four is Born Pink by Blackpink. All right. Number five is Harry's House by Harry Styles.
He's not going anywhere.
Number six is, yeah, dude,
Yeah.
he's there. Number six is is Renaissance by
Beyonce by
Beyonce.
Renaissance.
Beyonce by Renaissance. Dude, how funny would that
Dude, that'd
be?
be
Like, as an
hilarious.
artist, you just every album is just a name of some other artist.
Like, what does this have to do with him?
Would there be a lot
Nothing.
of cop?
It's like the name.
Would that be something you'd have to like
Copyright.
get like? Yeah, like worry about
Fuck,
copyright because you're
probably.
using their like
Yeah.
name.
Because it's not only their name at that point, but it's like, especially when you get into musical acts, like that's their brand, essentially. Like Beyonce is
Yeah,
one word synonymous with so many things, and it's all encompassing of her. So if you named your fucking album that, I feel like she'd have a problem with
she'd
it.
want money.
Unless
What
it's
if
a
you just
banger,
spelled it
and
slightly
she's like,
different?
okay, all right, fuck, shit slaps. Go ahead.
What if you just spelled it differently? You know what I mean? You just found a way to spell it to where it like you'd read it and you'd be like, "Does that say Beyonce?" But it's just spelled
It's like
wrong.
an extra
Because
E.
if you spell it in
That is parody. It's fine.
um, at number 7, the highlights by the weekend. Damn, dude, I haven't seen this guy in a while. At number 8, Beautiful Mind by
Oh
Rod
yeah,
Wave. I know he was up. He was up in the charts for a
yeah.
while, way back, like months ago. Um, what does RE mean? So, Dirt by Alice in
Oh yeah.
Chains. It's at number 9 right now, but
Oh, like a
the rest of them,
remaster.
like in the next column over. Oh, okay. Well, no, because it's so on all of these it says like where they are now, and then it says where they were
Yeah.
last week. And so in the where they were last week, it just says
Oh,
RE.
weird.
Yeah. And then at number 10, American Heartbreak by Zach Bryan.
Noise.
Noise.
Hell yeah. How'd that feel? Did you feel good being able to do that again?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Considering that you guys just stopped doing it while
That's
I
not
was gone.
true. I did it.
I know you did
I
it
did it
once.
every time. Get out of here. Gotta listen to the end, you piece of shit.
No, dude. Oh, God. So
I
long
just stopped putting it in
time.
the description, I think is the issue. But yeah,
Yeah. How am I supposed to know to listen to the end if it's not in the
I don't
description?
know. Fucking just do it anyway. Be a good person about it. I don't know. Fuck. I'm not telling you how to live your life, but fuck, figure it out, dude.
Yeah, dude, since I moved to Washington and like the commute to work is like cut down to like a literal like eighth of the time it took me to drive to work when I was in
Really?
Virginia, it's been a lot harder to listen to
Oh yeah, I
podcasts.
bet. Yeah, well that kind of happened to me too when, I moved from one town to the next and it like turned my 45-minute commute to 10, 15 minutes depending on how late I was going
Yeah.
to be. But and now like I just moved up here so I don't have a job yet, but I was just gonna hammer on school stuff for a bit and maybe pick up a part-time gig. But even so, like I'm more apt to want to watch something than to listen to podcasts. The drive up here, I listened
Yeah.
to 2.5 episodes of Time Suck, and then the rest of the way I just listened to music because I was like, almost to the end, but I needed to get something keep me grooving. But the fucking 9 and some change hour drive. I only stopped one time.
Good
Yeah.
for you.
And that was just because I had to, because I needed gas. That was like 20 miles still empty on the old U-Haul. So I know it's not a cross country drive like you guys did, but whatever.
9 hours, that's still a long drive, dude. Like
Oh, and here's the thing.
that's a lot.
So I was trying to surprise my brother and the kids and, his wife. And so my buddy who I'm living with now, Jeremy Brazzers,
Oh yeah.
so we were like not telling him. I kept telling him that I was like pushed it back to April. And then I went over there with Jeremy yesterday and I hid in the
Yeah.
back seat of his car so that like if they were outside on the off chance they wouldn't see me. And then I
Yeah.
just like walked in a little bit later and I just got fucking a bunch of like confused, like, what's happening? So it's a far cry from those like fucking videos you see on Facebook where you're surprising people. Everybody just kind of like
There were no tears of
frowned at
joy.
me, like, "What are you doing here?"
You're not supposed to be here. You don't
You
go
weren't
here.
invited. Go away. Like, oh, go. So no, honestly, I think it's hilarious that it went end up that way than, if they would have like lost their minds. But it's just very on brand for who my family is. Just like, the fuck are you
Yeah.
doing? uh, yeah. So kids are happy, kids are excited. But um that's pretty much it, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Um
I think that's it.
do you want to thank our friends? Do you remember them?
Dude, let's see. We want to thank our friends, the Dutch and Denver podcast, the No New Friends podcast, Kicking with the Kellys, and the Remedy
Noise.
Room. Yeah. All of the links can be found at linktree/walkpod. That's
Hell yeah.
WOKPOD. If you want your name said at the beginning by probably Levi. It may be me depending on the space-time continuum.
That's what I'm talking about.
You head on over to Patreon. Head on over to our Patreon, and anything you can do is appreciated. YouTube, like, subscribe, comment.
Do all the things.
He didn't read them this time. He didn't read them this time because he's a terrible
Well,
host.
it were you and Kylie. I guess Colton had one, but I just was like, they did seem pertinent at the time. And plus, we were talking about you. So, way to go. Way to
Right.
sidetrack us.
Hopefully, I'm here next
We'll
week.
see. We'll see if we can keep you around. I have to talk to management, but I made no call, no show for like 4 weeks straight. So, all right. Well, yeah, that's it, right? I've
Yeah,
had
that's it.
enough. Peace out, bitches.
Tip your bartender.